Hey, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto, Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. Anyway, folks, welcome aboard. Let's see who we start with. Who do we start with? Para ver, bear with me, guys, because I have the screen. Eric Hayes is in the house. Melanie Keelan is in the house from Barcelona, Spain. We also have Lee Grant in the house. Says, yay, y'all. We also have Yvette Avery Herod. Yvette, how are you doing today? Well, let me tell you, folks, I have a long video that I want to show. So before I get started, I'm going to go ahead and start that video. And after that, we'll get with the rest of the show. So let's go ahead and get busy right this minute, right this now. Welcome to another edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. As you know, much of what we talk about here at Politics Done Right, irrespective of it being on the progressive side, is the ability to speak to the other side, the ability to coexist, because we only have one country and nobody's leaving. Anyhow, Jill Long Thompson is a former congresswoman from Indiana who taught ethics as a visiting clinical associate professor at the Kelley School of Business and the School of Public and Environmental Affairs at Indiana University, Bloomington. Until 2015, she was board chair and CEO of the Farm Credit Administration, a position to which she was appointed by President Barack Obama. She is the author of The Character of American Democracy, Preserving Our Past, Protecting Our Future, and her current book is Across the Aisle, Why Bipartisanship Works for America. It is my pleasure to have you on Politics Done Right. Former Representative Congresswoman Jill Long Thompson. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and thank you for having me on your show. It is a privilege and a pleasure to be here.
Well, let me tell you, first of all, I love the subject because I think until we get to the position where we realize we're one country and we're all going to have to work together somehow to get things done, I'm glad that you wrote a book, and it's an interesting way in which the book was written because it was a lot of authors, really. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what got you to put in all of this together and how you did it?
Indiana University Press actually asked me to produce this book. The director, Gary Dunham, asked me to do this. And I just started reaching out to friends and I would ask them if they were interested in participating or if they could recommend somebody to participate. And I was really not surprised, but very pleased with the number of people who believe, as I do, that bipartisanship is essential to democracy. I think sometimes because we are so busy with our day-to-day activities, we don't think about what it means to live in a democracy. And it's very important to recognize that the process by which we develop, adopt, execute, and enforce policy and laws, the process is as important as the laws and the policies that we adopt. And if we don't follow a process that is democratic, then we are undermining what we are and what we stand for.
When you talk about process, explain what you mean by process, because right now, a lot of people would tend to believe that the process just isn't working. Some even believe that the process has never worked for some. So what do you call this process? And then I want to pivot that back onto something else, but let's stay on this one for now.
The process has to be fair. It has to be honest. It has to have integrity. And we have to respect everybody's right to participate. And we must respect those with whom we disagree in the process as much as we respect those with whom we agree. I remember growing up hearing a term, great minds all think alike. Well, if that were so, life would be much easier, wouldn't it? Because there are lots of great minds. But in fact, great minds don't all think alike. And we need to show respect for people who have different experiences, different knowledge, different perspectives. And we actually end up with better policy when we incorporate the input and make sure that everybody has a seat at the table. You have probably seen these data, but McKinsey did some research on corporations, and those corporations that have diversity in their executive management, and diversity, it includes ethnic diversity, racial diversity, gender diversity, they outperform financially those companies that don't have the diversity. In the legislative process, the legislators who reach across the aisle and work with members of the other party are more successful at getting legislation adopted than those who just want to work with their own party. And so not only is it the right thing to do in terms of democratic values, we get better response, better results. We're stronger when we recognize that everybody has and should have a seat at the table.
I think, I've had, originally I wasn't a President Biden supporter, but I've learned to admire President Biden in that a lot of what he's done, he's done both sides, right? When he negotiated the infrastructure bill, it was a very bipartisan bill, and he took the opinions when he negotiated things that really required certain values that folks on the left has. He also did that appropriately with the right kind of negotiation vis-a-vis when it came out to the IRA. So, I mean, I think he has shown a balance in what bipartisanship should look like, more so when one looks at it than anybody else. What are your thoughts, though, of those presidents who, in effect, failed the model that, let's say, a President Biden followed, and to some extent, even President Obama in the way he negotiated the Affordable Care Act, in as much as I had a whole lot of problems with that?
Well, I think that it's important to recognize that negotiation and compromise are central to the democratic process. And not only do we get better decisions when we do that, but those are the values of democracy. And there are values that are recognized worldwide regarding people who have character. And I think to be a good leader, you have to be a person of character. You have to be principled and you have to have integrity. And among those shared values regarding people who have character are respect for others, caring for others, trustworthiness, and there are others as well. But I think that President Joe Biden is very much a reflection of those values. He respects others, and he has no problem reaching out to people with whom he disagrees. Now, they may argue, but generally they argue respectfully. And respect for others is essential to the democratic process. It's also essential to good decision making.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I want to do a quick little segue here because this is something that continues to bother me with respect to the Senate and things like the filibuster, et cetera. Right now, I think mathematically speaking, the Senate is not a very democratic institution, just based on the structure of 100 senators, 50 states, 2 senators from every state, irrespective of size. And then we have the other issue of having to get supermajorities for several issues that pretty much, whereas we get very concerned about what many would call the tyranny of the majority, it seems like that gives a minority view, a larger tyranny, if you will, in that not only are senators not represented based on population, but even in the structural nature of the Senate, it even gives those that much more power. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think you have expressed my concerns very well. I think the challenge is that democracies are made up of humans, and we have to have checks and balances in the system. And sometimes those checks and balances work very well at protecting individual rights and the democratic process. Sometimes they do not, because it is human nature to want what we want and not want necessarily what someone else wants. That's how we are as humans. I actually have a doctoral minor in social psychology and have studied human behavior because my area of research was consumer economics in my PhD program. And we just have a way as humans of seeing things the way we want to see them rather than as they actually are. And that's why democracy and the values of democracy are so important, because our biases can be offset, if you will, by others who also have biases, but biases that are different from our own. And then every once in a while, you do run into somebody who really does seek the truth and does the research necessary to provide the information to make good decisions. But I think democracy is very challenging, but it's the best approach because you get better decisions than if you're in another form of government. And we just have to keep working and fighting hard to ensure that democratic principles are upheld in the process of adopting policy, executing it, and enforcing it.
Interestingly, if you take a look at your book, you have folks writing pieces together like, who would think Trent Lott and Tom Daschle would write a piece together? Or then I saw the two of them together and said, oh, interesting. But it's great to see that. And then, of course, you have Todd Young on Reflections. But tell me, how did you go about choosing these people for the book and the order in which you put it in the book?
Well, I reached out to the Bipartisan Policy Center. It's a not-for-profit organization that is bipartisan, that works to advance bipartisanship in policymaking. And I also reached out to the Association of Former Members of Congress. And I have donated all the royalties that the book earns to those two organizations because in promoting the book, I don't want to be promoting it and then having some kind of financial reward. I taught ethics, and
right.
I have an issue with that, an ethical issue with that. So, and I know that they will use the money for the greater good of the country. But I had considerable help in reaching out to. Now, I do know Tom Daschle and have met Senator Lott, but don't know him personally. But by working with the Bipartisan Policy Center and the Association of Former Members of Congress, it allowed me to reach out to many people that I respect but did not have contact information for. And then regarding the order of the book, I always think it's important to defer to people who have more expertise in certain areas than I do. And I deferred to Gary Dunham, the director of IU Press, on the order because I thought he had a better sense of how to put the book together, if you will.
Now, we are, two more questions. We are in dire straits as a country. I mean, earlier on in our discussion, you made a very important point that leadership requires ethics, it requires character, it requires all these things. But the thing about it is the American people pick leadership. We are the ones who pick leadership. We have one of our candidates that's running, and I don't mean to be partisan here, but these are just statements of fact. We have a person that is running for the presidency that simply does not have the morality or the character to hold that position. It is also somebody that has never, ever won the popular vote. In fact, the American people have always made the right decision based on the number of votes. However, based on what I call the undemocracy of our Constitution, we have gotten this person elected and could again, if the pivots fall in the wrong place. What can we do in the future? Like I said, the American people seem to make the right choices, but you spoke about structural democracy before. What can we do to ensure that the structural democracy comes out with the right answers?
Well, I think that one area where we really need to put some focus is on information literacy. I am old enough to remember how prevalent local news outlets were.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that while we can be frustrated with stories, news stories that we read, and opinion pieces that are written by editorial boards, the reality is professional news reporting and doing what you are doing, it actually contributes to better decision making, not just in politics, but in business and in a whole host of areas. I think that we need to address information literacy in K through 12, but also in higher education. I also think that we need some reforms in how, I don't think it, I know it. We need reforms in how we draw congressional districts. They need to be drawn by independent commissions, not by politicians whose political future is going to be affected by the congressional lines that are drawn. Gerrymandering has become a major issue for this country, and we have more politicians who are representing districts that are very safe for them. In the last 50 years, I am the only Democrat to have been elected to represent the district that I represented in Northeast Indiana. The districts have changed and the lines have changed, but that part of the state of Indiana, and I was elected for 3 terms. And one term was short because it was a special election that took place on March 28th, 1989, rather than in November the year before. I want to be completely honest about that. But we need districts that are more balanced, because if you are in a district that is more balanced, then politically, not just is it a good idea that reflects character, but politically, you have to listen to both sides, or you won't get reelected. And so I think that the way we draw congressional districts is very important. But I also think providing better information on the information that we have access to. Social media platforms are notorious, many of them, for the dishonesty that is posted on them. And there's research that shows that something that is false gets distributed more widely and more rapidly than the truth. And that's a real problem in a democracy.
That sure is. Now, have you ever heard of the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact? That says you've heard about it, or
I have, but I'm not overly familiar with it.
Yeah, the only reason I'm saying that is what it does is it says, since we know it's almost impossible to get a constitutional amendment to get rid of, let's say, the electoral college, the idea is that if we have enough states that adds up to 270 electoral votes, that no matter who wins that state, the popular vote winner would be selected, given that the states have states' rights that allow them to decide. You know, it's amazing because some will complain, but hey, that's what state rights says. We can we can create the laws by which we're governed. And I'm hoping right now, I think we're short about 3 or 4 states to get that done. I'm hoping that at some point that gets done. But my last question to you is always the same for everybody. What should I have asked you that I didn't?
Well, I think you've covered just about everything that is relevant to the book Across the Aisle, Why Bipartisanship Works for America. I would just say that it's very important that we continue to have these discussions, because they are critical to our democracy continuing. We didn't become the strongest nation in the world by some random process. Democracy works, and it works best when we tell the truth. It's like in a family. When we are honest in our families, but also respectful to the family members with whom we disagree, the family is stronger. It's very complex in this age of large populations and diversity and technology. I think that, for example, raising children today would be such a challenge, because there are just so many things to be thinking about and doing every day, and there's so little time for reflection. But in a democracy, we are all responsible for making it work. And we need to figure out as a nation how we get better information to people, how we learn to accept information that is true, but that we don't like, and learn how to work together and to disagree in ways that are not disagreeable.
Love that. Former Congresswoman, Indiana Congresswoman Jill Long Thompson, and author of Across the Aisle, Why Bipartisanship Works for America. All the information for getting the book will be in the links within our blog as well. Thank you so kindly for having been on Politics Done Right.
Thank you, and thank you for what you're doing.
All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed that. I got a note from her publicist that said she wanted to talk about some bipartisanship, and especially in these times, I said, I think this is something we want to talk about. By the way, yes, Paul Fleming. That is an important get for Kamala Harris. Breaking news: the top Muslim American voter group, Engage Action, endorses Vice President Kamala Harris for president. That is important because right now, because she's unable to take certain positions with the Israeli war, or what should I say, the genocide in Gaza. Again, look, politics is complicated, and E2247. We'll get into talking a whole lot about that at some other time, not today, but thank you for giving us that information that you always give us. And in fact, I'm going to read some of what you brought us, my dear brother E2247. He says in his link, I want to get to the start. I want to get to the start of what you said. Here we go. More than 90,000 people have been displaced by 5 days of Israeli strikes on Lebanon, the UN said. And these are Gaza-only stats and do not include occupied Palestinian territory. Now, day 355 of war, at least 41,495 Gazans are killed, 475 persons more than the day 340, at least 96,000 have been wounded, 1,081 more than day 340, 137,501 casualties, 387 per day for 11.8 months in an estimated 22,300,000 people. That's approximately 6% of the population. Total Gaza population with 41,495 Gazan killed is equal to about 117 per day killed, and 79% are, wow, it has increased, E2247. 79% are kids and women. That shows the criminality and the genocidalness of Israel's ADF and Netanyahu. Were U.S. to be in the situation 11.8 months, that would have been equivalent to 20,157,109 kills, 6% of the U.S. population. If the U.S., look, it is just simply terrible. Another example that he gives, if U.S. is in a situation of Gaza now 355 days into the genocide, U.S. proportional daily average killed and injured is equal to 2 baseball stadiums a day with 28,390 persons each. All right. Thank you for that, my brother. Also, E2247 says, which U.S. so-called leader will pledge to stop the daily massacres that build U.S.-enabled genocide in Palestine, Lebanon, Syria? Lebanese education minister shut all schools. Let me tell you something, E2247. No American leader right now is going to get up and say, Israel, stop the genocide. None of them would say it, because the structure of our country and the education level of our people won't allow them to tell the truth. They won't allow them to say that. And why? Because when you have organizations like AIPAC that are legal, that have a legal authority to lie, and we have a population that is susceptible to the misinformation from the AIPACs, a leader goes ahead and tries. If Kamala comes out and says anything right now about genocide or anything of that sort, it is over. It would be over. Let's go ahead and listen to Brother Bruce Pollard. Bruce, let me get to the right speaker before I get you on air. I got to get to the right speaker. All right, Bruce, you're on. Talk to me, my brother.
Hi. So, well, I'm thinking about Texas. You think there's a chance of Kamala winning Texas?
Yes, there is actually, the chances are going up as Trump does more speaking. I tell you what, Trump is starting to look ill. I don't know if you've watched him lately, and there are whispers going on right now. She's within 5 points, 4 point something points in Texas, and right now we have Cheney that is out here supporting what's his name, the senator guy that's running against Ted Cruz. So there is a distinct possibility that she could win here. And guess where's the other state she could win? Florida. So yes, Bruce, it is a distinct possibility. And I think if we work hard enough, if we register enough people between now and October 7th, we definitely will have Texas in play, because Texas is not a red state. Texas is not a purple state. Texas is a state where people don't vote. And if we get people voting, we'll win. Go ahead, brother.
So is the Green Party on our ballot?
I am not sure if the Green Party is on the ballot.
It's time to start looking at our ballot,
Yes, I think you're absolutely right. I probably need to do that in the next few days. But yeah, I think Americans this year, if you take a look at how what's her name is doing on the ballots where she's on, the third party candidate, what's her name? You know who I mean? The lady that is. I met her. I had lunch with her before. Gosh, what's her name?
And I've met her too. I can't. Yeah, we got to remember. Yeah. I heard her. So I heard her on Politics Done Right after you this morning. And
right. You know what's interesting? I had lunch with her.
She has a man running for vice president from UC South, UC San Diego or Santa Clara. UCSC would be Santa Clara.
Right.
I've got it. He speaks really well. And,
right.
I don't want Mr. Trump to be the next president, but I just think the Democrats, she's not being upfront enough, or as middle. I mean, she doesn't say, "Okay, we got to fix the health thing." Period. She dances around that, and to dance around those things means that she's taken advice from people that are not Bernie.
Let me tell you let me tell you what I tell Johnny not this morning, but several times. Right now, she's playing to win. Okay. Did you just hear her speech that she just gave?
Yep.
Okay. Notice what she came. I'm a capitalist. She was doing the speech to win over those people who want to vote for Donald Trump but know that he's crazy. And I'm telling. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Isn't that telling a lie?
Yes, it is. It is actually it is.
So it's condoning. It's condoning what I stand against.
Okay,
I stand for truth.
Let me ask you a question, Bruce. Let me ask you a question, because I should. When you asked me, "Isn't that a lie?" I shouldn't have responded and said yes. I should have said.
But you did it fast. You did it quickly because.
Yes, I did it fast because what happens is that
it's a political lie, right?
Right. She wants it to come across for you to hear. She wants you to hear what she's not saying. In other words, she wants you to hear that she is your regular capitalist going out there, right? That's what she wants you to hear. But she doesn't want to lie to say that exactly what it is. Now, she did say today, "I'm a capitalist." Okay. Well, what type of a capitalist are you? If you tell me I'm a capitalist that want all the regulations that she just said she also wanted, then that's not capitalism. You can call it regulated capitalism, but there's no regulated capitalism. You're either a capitalist or you're not. You can't be half pregnant or not, right? So, and that is that's how I look.
I mean, your buddies.
Yeah.
Your buddies from the 8:00 show had a superb show today, and they had callers from around the state of Texas Mm-hmm. Talking about their groups and how their likelihood to vote in one way or another has changed and how they see each candidate. And the problem is people coming from the South are deathly afraid of the word socialism.
Exactly.
So even to say you're a democratic socialist is bad.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
I personally think that she should just put Texas away. And I don't think that the people in Florida feel the same way. And if she wins Florida, she wins.
Right.
If she wins Pennsylvania, she's real close. And I think that she has to be truthful to win those states, because the people in Pennsylvania, I'm semi from Pennsylvania, and I'm not fooled by what she's saying now. It's not real. It's not who she really is. She's saying what people are telling her to say. And
let me go and tell you about what I think about triangulation. Okay. And this is what I'm trying to tell my progressive brothers and sisters, because I had to go through this with Johnny as well. When you do the numbers, right? If I go ahead and start telling people all the policies that I want, they all say, yeah, I want that. And then, but when you allow the Trumpster to say, well, this is socialism, that is socialism, that is socialism, people's minds start to change. So the thing about it is, how do you define the narrative that because the people are not educated on the issues, right, that you can still get their votes? And there are two things that I can tell you. Number one is I saw it done in Pennsylvania last night. I don't know if you saw Wagner's show when you had one of the union guys got up and spoke to a young guy that was potentially going to vote for Donald Trump. And he said, you see that job that you're doing right now? The CHIPS Act is paying the bill. You see that job that you're doing there? The Inflation Reduction Act is paying that bill. And, when you start doing these examples, now, when it comes to, I'm a Bernie guy, that to the core. What I tell progressives is
to the core.
Well, actually, more than to the core. I think I'm more left than Bernie, but let's leave that for now. What I want to say, though, Bruce, is the following. Our job begins after she's elected, not before. I mean, right now, our job is to not allow those who are fooled by Donald Trump to get elected, because Donald Trump has lied completely on absolutely everything. Crime rate is up 43%. The inflation rate is up to 9%. He said all of that yesterday. And there are people that are listening to that and believe in that. So our goal is to get around that and get somebody else elected. And like I told Johnny, after that occurs, we can't do what we did with Obama. We gave Obama a break because Obama was a black guy that we thought needed our protection after winning that election. We cannot do that with Kamala Harris. The progressive base is as soon as she's elected has to get in there, because here's the other kicker. You know what's going to get her elected, believe it or not? The support that the permission structure that people like, and this is going to sound terrible, but it's all analytic. The support structure that Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, the 200 Republicans that are supporting her, the Republicans that you see on MSNBC and CNN that are supporting her. Unfortunately, that is given a permission structure for a certain kind of voter to vote for her. So when she gets elected, the fight is not going to be the fight is going to be, how much do we allow her to do from Liz Cheney? How much do we allow her to do from all these Wall Street guys that are now jumping on her bandwagon because they know that Donald Trump is a kook? And not only that Donald Trump is a kook, that he has the power to increase tariffs, which I don't know if you listened to my show with Tom Hartman. Tom Hartman is all for tariffs if it's done correctly, not if it's done like Trump. And I agree with Tom Hartman. But the business community said if Trump goes in, it's crazy. At least they think they have full control over Kamala. And what I'm saying is, no, we should have full control over Kamala. And are we ready to do the work? I know I am. I am not going to give her a break when she wins. I'll be ready to go out there and fight like hell. And that's what I want everybody to do. Anyway, continue, my brother.
Yeah. So I think I'm thinking different these days.
I know.
I'm thinking that this is a democracy. Mm-hmm. And one of the fundamental bastions of democracy is people face each other with the truth. Mm-hmm. And to go up there and not say the truth, but to have the truth. So that right now the truth is backing her up with respect to with respect to the economy. The truth is backing her up with respect to crime. The truth is backing her up with respect to health for women and health in general. Even if she went full, single payer, the truth would back her up. It's an easy explanation. And I just don't think, I don't think that being in the middle and saying things that are obviously not the truth.
Tell me one of the things that you say that she says is, tell me one of the things that's not the truth in your opinion.
Well, okay, so her approach to her approach to health, right? Mm-hmm. She doesn't say single payer is the only way to go. Mm-hmm. But you and I both believe single payer is the only way to go.
It is the only way to go. Yeah, it's the only way to go.
Let's also talk. Let's just talk about Israel. So Israel, I think there's only one way to go at this point. And I think that everybody in America knows that that we are killing way too many people. There are too many people being killed there. Mm-hmm. And that there's just no way that we should be funding that. Mm-hmm. We're just doing it because some rich people are making money on it. Mm-hmm. That rich 1%, and they're funding that. And even the story that has us, and I'm Jewish, so sort of Jewish. And
no, you are.
But I'm not a Zionist.
Right.
And my beliefs are ecumenical and totally accepting of everyone who is trying to search for their definition of their meaning. I mean, Kurt Vonnegut has my vote. And I just think that that's the way you stand up and you tell the truth about those things. And in the end, I've got to say it, in the end, if you lose because you told the truth, you've got nothing to put, you don't have to put your tail between your legs. But if you lose because you didn't tell the truth, or if you lose and didn't tell the truth, then you're going to hurt for the rest of your life.
Now, let me come back to you and first of all say that you're an honorable person, and I don't think she's a dishonorable person. I think she's a politician. Okay, and in this particular game, if you will, what I find is that because you don't control the media, because you don't control all these things, you have to find a way to get around what the media is going to portray about you. And, the portrayal.
When we fight, we win is tough.
Yeah. When we fight, we win. No, I'm with you.
You have to define what winning is. For sure, it's getting the right number of votes in the
electoral college.
Constitutional system, right?
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, there's no way, if she wins, there's no way without having democracy expand beyond Democrats and Republicans that she's going to make any of the things happen, particularly with respect to women and to fixing the Supreme Court mess and fixing the abortion mess. And I mean, she's not going to be able to do those, period, unless she has a belief across the board that doesn't strictly begin and end. I mean, they voted. What was the last vote that they did? It was it makes easy sense. But in the House, it was just voted exactly Democrats versus Republicans. I think one person switched. I mean, that just cannot happen because the Senate is designed to prevent one party from having an easy go of it and to force the government to become democratic in such a space that everybody can decide on stuff. I mean, they will decide on budgeting, right? But they really need to start deciding on spending way too much money on military. I mean, how many bases do we have versus how many bases do we really need? And there's $1 trillion in that. If you brought half of that home, think of what you could do in terms of feeding people. There's people in Texas, something like 40 or 45% of the kids in the summertime are going hungry.
No, my second rant.
Texas
I'm not going to be
messed up too, right? So
yeah, it's interesting because
thank you for letting me rant. Right? But you
no
of how democracy in the United States, democracy has to come forward, and she's claiming it needs to come forward. She's right, but she's not saying the right things for me, for it to make her change Texas. The only thing I think that would change Texas is the truth.
Let me tell you, I don't know that Texas, you know the show that I do every morning. And
I listen to you 80% of the time. The rest of the time I fall back asleep, sorry. But,
well, I'm so hurt now, Bruce. I'm so hurt.
It's just my sleep cycle.
Brother,
that's just my sleep cycle.
I'm kidding you, man. But hey, look, let me tell you. I differ from you a bit in that I think
Jill Stein, by the way.
Jill Stein, that's the one. Yeah, I mean, I had lunch with her. We had habanero pepper in salad, fresh habanero pepper. I never forgot that. She can eat some hot pepper, I tell you. But anyhow, let me just say this.
There's no jota in Spanish, right?
Listen, Bruce. We'll talk about this continuously throughout the week. But let me just say that
I just wanted to
wait. Hold on.
Talk about.
Hold on. No, this is y'all's show, and if you change the show, that's what you do. You change the show. Period. It's your show too. Please. I can't do my other video because it's 11 minutes and you came and you took all my damn time, but it's your show. And I enjoyed it. And I think it's something that people needed to hear as well. So before you go, I just want to say this to you and to the audience as well. I believe in the truth. I think Kamala is doing something that I had hoped many Democratic politicians would do. And it's not about lying. It's about putting things in the perspective that others can take on. And I think the mere fact that Texas is within 4 points, to me, I could be wrong, but to me it says that it's actually working because she is by no
4 points.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I think you get the 4 points by telling the truth.
Well, maybe she could add a little bit something to that to win over the other 4 points, but we'll see. But
otherwise,
go ahead.
Miss Stein gets my vote.
Hey, Bruce, this is going to be a what do you call a swing state. She can't get your vote. We'll talk later, brother.
Okay.
Take care, my brother. Peace. All right. Yep. Anyway. Have a great one, bye.
Take care, everybody.
Yeah, Bruce is our resident brother of great intellect. He is a chemist, man. Anyway, let's continue here. No Stein, no Stein, no Stein. No, I like Jill Stein. I just don't think she's doing the right thing right now. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got here. What else have we got here? Guys, as you guys just heard, Bruce came in and changed the show. All right. Michael Rudden says Trump has publicly insisted that congressional Republicans shut down the government unless they can enact the proof of citizenship election known as Save the Act, even though it's already illegal and rare citizens to vote in those elections. But after the House rejected a package that combined government funded and the Save Us Week, Johnson stripped out the Trump-backed legislation and brought the new mostly clean bill to the floor, defending the move. Johnson and other key Republicans have argued GOP shut down 35 days before an election would have been political malpractice. This just shows you already that Trump is losing his hold. Paul Fleming says House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries on Wednesday noted that Republican Speaker have repeatedly had turned down Democrats to provide the votes on critical legislation throughout the 118th Congress. All right, scrolling down, let's see what else we got here that I need to read. Ukraine is winning. Scared? I hear you, Shakula. I hear Stanis. How you doing, beautiful lady? Let's see what else we have now. Going back up, guys. I kind of lost my position in the list. Paul Fleming says, this is a tweet by a sitting member of Congress. Higgins doesn't try to hide the racism or the xenophobia. Instead, he decides that full bore round him up and string him up energy was the way to go. Unreal. That's how they are, man. Trump has made that something to be proud of. That's what Trump has done. Mike Cisak says she's nowhere close to winning Florida. Yes, she is. And Texas, yes, she is. We'll see. Actually, you'll be surprised. Harris has a chance. Is Michigan, which is still has law in effect to allow massive voter fraud. Oh, yeah, if she wins, it's voter fraud, right? Pearl Jackson said, this guy wants to vote for Donald Trump. Vote to Donald Trump, but the better choice is Harris. There you go. The better choice is definitely Harris. Let's see, who else have I missed to salute this afternoon? I think I've gotten to everybody, right? Jill Stein, thank you, Michael, for reminding us. It's Jill Stein that we were talking about. I'm scrolling up to see. Okay, I don't think I have anything else there. Now, my other video is 11 minutes, so I can't quite do that video. So if somebody else wants to give me a call, which is 281-823-7747 to close out the show. Otherwise, we'll close out kind of early. Give me a call, 281-823-7747. Give us a call. West quit Greens because they will not and or cannot agree or squat between themselves and for any one statewide green structure to the next. Let us get real. The Green Party has issues, right? Yeah, even here in Texas, they have issues. So, what can I say? All right, folks, give me a call, 281-823-7747. One more time, 281-823-7747. You know who didn't show up today? I don't think Bridge MCP showed up today. I don't think I see her in the chat today. That's different. All right, folks, there we go. Ray's on. Come on in, Ray. Talk to me, my brother.
Yeah, I was listening to your brother, Bruce, and I just don't understand. Like, people, like you said, I agree. We they definitely make sure we hold Kamala Harris accountable because she's not the first black president. And I agree. Like, we should have did the same thing with Obama, Yes. But, yes. These people, I feel like, you know what? I'm gonna put this one on me for a minute. The way these people act like when it comes to voting, or the way that I act when people ask me why I'm single and I don't have a girlfriend. And it's by choice because I'm always having a specific criteria that seems to never measure up to anybody I'm dating. So I need these people like Bruce to understand when you're voting for somebody, you don't have to fall in love with them. You just have to trust them enough to know that you have their ear when stuff needs to get done on your behalf. That's it. And I don't understand anybody who feels like Trump is that ear. Trump ain't got an ear for nobody.
No,
So,
well, let me just defend Bruce in a bit here. I don't know if you noticed when Bruce called, what was the first question that Bruce asked me? I don't know if you heard it.
I don't know. I just came in late. I came in late, so I wasn't
Let me
here.
tell you what's the first question he said. He said, Egberto, do you think Kamala Harris could win Texas? Bruce is in Texas right here as well. And the reason he asked that question is if we believe Kamala has a chance of winning Texas, Bruce is going to go out there and vote for Kamala. But if he wants to do a protest vote because it's like, damn it, woman, say the progressive things we want you to say, then that's where he would launch a protest vote. It's the same thing like our brother on the KPFT morning show, Harry. Same thing with Harry. So I told Harry the same thing. You know, I hope what you're saying is that if you were in Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, you would definitely vote for Harris, right? Oh yeah, then yes. Well, now that Texas is in play, I'm pretty sure we can look at Harry and say, "Hey, Harry, you know how you need to vote now." You know, so I mean, you know, so I'm a person of grace, giving grace.
I hope Brother Harry come around because.
Oh no, he will.
Yeah,
he will.
You do. But because I mean, like right now, I see Texas as the next Georgia. A lot of people don't believe me, but hey,
look,
we have a senator on the ticket, just like they did.
Yes.
And the largest black population. Thank you. What you're saying, Egberto?
You are so right. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you. When I see the work that Molly Cook is doing, okay, you know who Molly Cook is. When I see the work Molly Cook is doing as far as block walking, she won the state senator position, and she's out there in the field. By the way, I sent her a little tweet today, and I wrote an article on her today because the Houston Chronicle endorsed her for being reelected to the state senate in November. So I guess the Chronicle is right. Dead clock is right twice a day, I guess. So they said that she would make the best candidate or the best state senator for District 15. You know, so
I like Molly, and while you mention her, she did win her district by 80 votes.
Yes,
so she knows.
Barely. Yeah, barely. And that she put out that guy that she ran against. He's well known, and you know he's deep in the community. So she worked for that. And that's why I have faith in the young lady. You know, 33 years old. I love to see the youth. That's about your age, right?
I'm actually a few years older than her, ironically.
Okay, well, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. You all you young people, that's what I like to see in action. Y'all are, the world is yours.
That, though.
Yeah. The world is yours.
Sir.
And we're
millennials taking over.
Yes, absolutely. And we're here to serve you, brother. So that's the thing. I am happy to see that. And I have faith that if we get all those people registered between now and October 7th, Texas will be ours. Because people are starting to see that Donald Trump is simply cuckoo. But anyway, anything else before I close this show, Ray?
Like a clock. Oh, quick update on the polls. They're saying that Democratic turnout is up in all of the major swing states and some states that we might not expect. So,
excellent. I'm glad to hear that. I think, and you know what's the interesting thing? Even because of the permission structure given by several Republicans as well, even if we see a higher Republican rate, rest assured, some of that is ours. So I think we have a surprise coming in November, better than many people believe. But we'll talk later, my brother.
All right, bro. Well, I'll talk later, and you stay safe out here. Stay hydrated, and I'll keep listening.
Have a good one. it is funny. Anyway, folks, we got to get out of here. Look, folks, please support the program however you can. The best way to support the program is either by going to our support links at politicsdoneright.com/support. I'm going to put that in the chat right now. politicsdoneright.com/support is the first way of supporting our program. Now, what I really need is more paid subscribers of our newsletter. So if you have the wherewithal to do so, please go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, and become a paid subscriber. You get a chance to read all of our books free of charge. Anyway, thank you guys for being here today. Love you all. Got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.